everyone, it's GLP87 here, and today we're going to do an updated version of my favorite products from e.l.f. Because I realized I did that video over a year ago, and I'm like, there's a whole bunch of new stuff here that we need to talk about. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start off with my honorable mentions, because y'all know me. I always got some sort of honorable mention. So with that being said, let's start with the honorable mentions. So the new e.l.f. Hydrating Camel Concealer Satin Finish. These are honorable mention because, first of all, the tones of them aren't the same as the original ones. Hopeless. As you can see, they are lighter than the original ones you buy. So it's like, they're not exactly the same. As you can see, I used quite a bit of this. But yeah, I've hardly used any of this just because I only like to use this when I mix it with this. And I only like to use these when I use like drugstore products. And I haven't really been drugstoring it up here. So I mean, I've done a little drugstore things here and there, but I haven't done a lot. But the only time I'll use those if I mix them in with those or another concealer I'm going to talk about in a minute that's from e.l.f. And then I like it then. But I don't just like them on their own. But I've heard other people who have oily skin like myself say the exact same thing. They're like, they don't like it on its own. They only like it if you mix it in with certain things. Like, I heard Andrea Montanalo said she does the same thing. She'll mix that one in with the one I just showed you, the original one. And then that's the way she likes it. That's the way I like it too, though. So I'm glad to hear it's not just me that's not necessarily liking a new formula. I think I've heard a few people or like at least mixed reviews on it. So that's why it's an honorable mention and not like just a staple I say you should get. I mean, when they have the 50% off sale, if you want to try it. And then if you don't like it, you can always mix it in with the original one if you own it, or mix it in with another concealer and it might work for you. Or if worse comes to worse, you can just use it to highlight your face. And I know it's only $6, but it's like, since I don't truly recommend it, that's why I'm saying get it at the 50% off sale they have like around the holidays. Okay, so next honorable mention I have is the Halo Glow Setting Powder from e.l.f. So if y'all remember when I first tried this out, they didn't even have the shade. They added the shade I have here now. It's called Tan. But when I first tried this, like, it darkened the foundation I had on, and it made me look crazy. Because I don't think it was summertime yet. I think it was like spring or something like that. And it darkened the foundation I had on, and then I don't think the foundation I had on like totally matched my face anyway, because it was already too dark and it just made me even darker. So it was not a pleasant experience when I first tried this. And then when I tried it again with a foundation that was my skin tone, it still made my skin look darker. So that's what let me know that the powder oxidized. So I'm glad they came up with better shades. The shade Tan works really nicely for me, but I only like this with certain foundation. So sometimes I'll try it and I don't like the way it looks, and the other times I'll try it and I do like the way it looks. So that's why, again, it's an honorable mention, because it's not like it's a bad product. It's just more of it depends on which foundation I put it with, how I like the way it looks or not. So this is a good powder. Again, this is what I'd recommend you get when they have their 50% off sale, and you know, otherwise I don't necessarily think I would recommend it, but you know, there's that. Let's get into some stuff I would just recommend on its own. So we're gonna start off with primers. So I have this oil control primer mist. Now, I actually heard Andrea Montanalo talking about this for like years, and I finally decided to get it. I found it at CVS, and I had a 40% off e.l.f. coupon. So that's why I went ahead and grabbed it up. It's $6, but at that price, I was like, I'll definitely try it. Worst comes to worst, I don't like it, and you know, I can use it as like a mist to set down the powders on my face, and maybe it'll help those stay in. It works okay. I mean, sometimes I feel like it doesn't do as good job as others. I guess it depends on how matte the foundation is or how oily my skin is that day. Like, if I don't go outside, I feel like it works better than if it does when I do go outside. But I think it does a pretty good job of controlling oil. Then again, nothing controls the oil that goes on with my nose. It's oily when I have on makeup. It's oily when I don't have on makeup. So if you're going off my nose, don't pay it any mind. Not to mention, I'm testing out a dewy, milky mist on my face today. So that's why my face looks oilier than usual, because I haven't been anywhere, but I haven't had the air conditioner on either. I don't know if that's what's causing what's going on here, but yeah. This stuff actually works pretty well. If you have super oily skin, you might want to try it out and then still put another primer on. Don't just depend on this as your primer. I don't ever just depend on this as my primer. I'll put this on my face, and then I'll put like a mattifying primer underneath, or I'll put my Tatcha Silk Canvas or something. I always put another primer on. I don't just depend on this. So I just want to make sure we're clear on that. But it's a good product for $6. I mean, it's fine. The next thing I have is the e.l.f. Jelly Pop, what is this, Dew Primer. Now, last year, you saw me compare this along with another primer against the Milk Hydro Grip. This is actually the one I prefer against the Milk Hydro Grip, but I've heard of another dupe from Hard Candy that Juicy Jazz says is really good, but every, every Walmart I go to, they always are out of it. And then like the blurring one that they had that my girl It's Glam XO Beauty said that's supposed to be a good dupe for the Tatcha Silk Canvas in the liquid. They have run out of that at the Walmart by my house. I haven't been in any other Walmarts to check for it though, so I might go to the one down the street tomorrow before Adrian and I go home and see about that. But this is a really good dupe for it, I can guarantee that. I like it. I think it works just fine. It does have the stick and grip to it like the Milk Hydro Grip does, and I feel like they do about the same job. And this one, of course, is a fraction of the price because e.l.f. is known for like undercutting people. So this one is, I think, in the $6 to $10 range. It might have been $8. I don't honestly remember. I bought this like last summer and they came back out with it again this summer. So I would definitely say get your hands on it if you want to try it. But as you can see, I hardly used it because a lot of time in the summertime lately I've been trying to use skincare primers because I don't want a whole bunch of makeup clogging up my pores in my skin. Because even though you wash your face, that stuff is still in there. So I try to use skincare primers. But this is a good one if you're a person who wants to make sure your makeup grips and holds and you don't want to pay $20 for the miniature hydro grip when you can get this full size bottle here for $6. So I recommend that. The next one I have are the e.l.f. Flawless Concealers. I have, of course, the shades I always buy in these. If you all were not aware, all the shades I have shown you in e.l.f. concealers are Deep Olive and Deep Chestnut. Those are the two shades I buy. I like Deep Olive because it always reminds me of that walnut shade from NARS that Jackie always talks about. And then Deep Chestnut is just one that's closer to my skin tone. So it's like I like to use this to brighten in the corners underneath my eyes. And I use this one as my general shade to highlight with. But these concealers are really nice. Now I got this recommendation from Andrea Renee because it's like I had seen these concealers, but I hadn't thought much about them because you know everybody was hyping up the 16-hour camel concealer, so I didn't really think to try these. But when I heard Andrea saying how really nice they were, and she liked to mix these in with those because they were a little dry, and that was before the satin finish version of the 16-hour camel concealers that came out. I'll try these, and they do work nice with those. Like I'll use the Deep Olive one with the Deep Chestnut one from the 16-hour, and you know it looks beautiful on the skin. So these are definitely great concealers. I would definitely recommend you try them out. Now these I say pay regular price for. All the stuff we're talking about now, I'd say pay regular price for. Don't wait for the sale. Just go grab it now. But those honorable mentions, wait for the sale because I don't think they're personally good enough for me to spend that kind of money on, even though they're cheaper than everything else. So that's up to you, but my things we talking about now, the things that I'm like, I can't live without, I need those. They're a requirement, and I'm gonna have them. So the next thing I have is the Stay All Night Micro Fine Settings Mist up to 16-hour wear. I bought this because I had seen it new and I saw it on Ulta, and it magically disappeared from their website. So then I had to go to e.l.f.'s website to pick this up, and I picked up a few other things that I'm about to show you all now that are favorites and turned out being favorites. So I'm glad I did. But this I like. I wouldn't say I love it, but I mean, like, it's a decent setting spray. It's not bad, especially for the price it is, because it's 2.7 ounces, and I think it's like $8 or $10 if I remember correctly. But mind you, the Maybelline one that I feel like is a better dupe for all-nighter, because I feel like this is supposed to be a dupe for all-nighter. The Maybelline one that's a better dupe for all-nighter does give you more, 3.4 ounces. But if you're making an e.l.f. order already and you need a good setting spray, I would suggest that you go ahead and just throw it in the bag. And I think this weekend is the last weekend that they're doing their free shipping. That was another reason I wanted to shoot this video now, because it's their 16th birthday. So I'm going to try to make sure this goes up as a bonus video on Sunday night. And hopefully you can snag those deals, because if you only want to buy one or two of these things, they're having like free shipping on, I think, $15 purchases. Or it might just be free shipping in general. I don't remember. But either way, I recommend this product. And I haven't seen it on Ulta's website anymore. But then again, I didn't check, so they might have put it back up. Next, we have some lip products. So I have these, what are these called? The Seriously Satin Lipsticks. I have 3 shades. Start off with my favorite shade, which is Permission. Look at this. Y'all know I love colors like this. This is a gorgeous lipstick shade. Let me go ahead and swatch all these on my hand real quick. So that is Permission. I think the other one I have is Pepper. Or is it Cherry? No, I have Pepper. That's the reddish shade, of course. And then I have the shade called Cream. I feel like they don't have a good nude for people my skin tone, because it's like I like nudes that are somewhat like this, but it's like it needs to be a darker nude. Obviously, this is way too light. I have to put this like in between lipsticks. But it kind of reminds me of Eartha from Oma Beauty. Except I feel like that one has a little bit more of a brown girl friendly undertone than this one does, but this is cream, this is pepper, and this is permission. Permission is my favorite, and then pepper. This one I usually just like use to blend in with a darker lipstick when I want to make it lighter and do the ombre lip type thing. But otherwise, I don't necessarily think this is brown girl friendly. And then the ones that they had that were brown girl friendly, I didn't really like the colors that they chose. So that's why I ended up picking this one. And it looks darker online to me than it does in real life. But, you know, I have it now, and I think it was only like, I think these are $3. Do not quote me. But, yeah, so I like those lipsticks, and I definitely recommend Permission and Pepper. Now, you can find Pepper at Walmart, but Permission you have to order online on Elf's website, like, or on Ulta. They don't have that one in store. I've been to plenty of stores, I haven't seen it there. Like, I went to Walmart to see if they had it, they didn't. Then I went to Target and they didn't have it. And then at CVS they don't have it either. So you're gonna have to order this color right here, Permission, on their actual website. Let's get into lip liner since I already did the lip. Now, I only have this lip liner from the Nabella Noir collection, but I really like their lip liners, and they came out with more in the collection with the retro, what is it, the Retro Paradise palette. This is the color, the one I have, the lip liner. I think it's really nice. It blends into my skin pretty well, so if I want to do my lips but better type situation, this would be a good lip liner for it. And y'all know I don't have a problem doing my lip better lip looks, so that's why I like the color of it, and definitely recommend that you try out their lip liners, because I heard the formula of their new ones are the same as the one I just watched in the back of my hand. The only thing that is that kit is out of stock, so I don't know when it's going to come back, and I don't know when they're going to make more lip liners. But if you can get your hands on some e.l.f. lip liners, I definitely recommend you try them out, because they are pretty awesome for the price. Let's see now. We're going to go into some blush. So these little quads are actually really nice. The only thing I'll say about them is I feel like they don't have a lot of them that are friendly for people my skin tone. I think they have like 2 token shades that we can use, and that's it. And this is one of them. So this is guava, and then the other one is pomegranate. That's the darker plummy one. But the other ones I feel like aren't really brown people friendly. Just like the primer infused bronzers they came out with, they aren't brown people friendly at all. So I'm waiting for them to like do an extension of sorts, because it's like y'all came out with like, I think 4 shades in the bronzer maybe, and none of them work for us, and this is the year of bronzers for everybody. So where's yours at, e.l.f.? I'm just saying. But this is a really nice set. I mean, this guava shade is okay. The pomegranate one is the best one for people my skin tone, and you know that's only 1 shade, so it's like you made all these sets of blush and highlighter duals, but I can only use like 2 of them. Still has me feeling a little bit of some type of way, but you know, not gonna get into that. This is the blush pomegranate, and then this is the highlighter. I feel like it'll look better if I apply it with a brush on the face, because I feel like it does look better when I apply it with a brush on the face. But I wanted you to see what I was saying when it came to the color. I feel like it's a color I can barely get away with using. Like, I have to most likely use these like blush sets in the wintertime. The only one I can use now is pomegranate. The other ones just do not work for people my skin tone that well. But you know, I know not just people my skin tone watch my videos, so that's why I included it in here anyway. Now, if you're my skin tone, the only one that's most likely gonna work for you is pomegranate, sis. I'm telling you now. Like this one, you're gonna have to wait till winter time to use. So if you brown, just go buy pomegranate, and you know that's the only way you won't get to try this, because all the other shades ain't working for you. I'm so sorry. No. I have some brushes, and then we're gonna get into the eyeshadow palettes, because I usually don't have any e.l.f. eyeshadow palettes ever, just because it's like I didn't like their formula for years, and I thought it was like terrible, and I was like, yeah, no. I mean, like the Holy Smokes palette was like the only palette I halfway liked from them, and then like all the rest of them I was like, yeah, no, I don't like any of the color stories. And then like the formula, the Holy Smoke, took forever for me to build up when I did use it, and that was when I wasn't that good or that versed for makeup, so to me it was fine. But now I wouldn't buy that palette at all. Like, it took forever to blend, and then like it looked patchy after I did blend forever. So I'm glad they have updated it. But let's get to some of the brushes. So I have, y'all know I'm always talking about this brush. This is the detail crease brush from e.l.f. This is one of my all-time favorite e.l.f. brushes. I think it's an amazing brush, and I definitely feel like everyone should own it, because when you need to get in that outer V corner and do the detail work of your outer V smokiness, or if you want to get like over the top and dust over the eyeshadow color that you put in the crease, that's a good brush for that. So And if you want to smoke out the lower lash line, I figure it might be a good idea to dust underneath there after you use the pencil brush to get down there. So I feel like it's a really good brush all the way around. And when they do the 50% off sale, I'll use about like 3 or 4 of them. Because the only thing I will say about e.l.f. brushes is I feel like the ferrules always end up, the stuff ending up coming off of them. Like with them, Sigma and Luxie, I noticed like that always happens to me. With other people's brushes, it doesn't, but just those 3 brands. So just keep that in mind. But at the end of the day, the brush is $3. So like, you know, when they go on sale and they're $1.50, I use about like 4 of them. Because, I mean, there's a whole huge cup of brushes here. But the fact that I like that brush enough to buy that many of them, I feel like speaks to the brush itself. Now I have this Nabella Noir an e.l.f. crease brush. I just picked out this one because it's a pretty color. They have a regular just black one. This is part of the professional line. Where is it? I had pulled that one out too, but I was like, I'll show y'all the pretty one. But yeah, this is the regular one. So as you can see, it's the exact same brush. It's just hers is red and a little bit longer, and her ferrule is a little bit longer, but these are the exact same brushes. They do the exact same thing. I just wanted you to look at the pretty one. But this brush, I think it's like $3 or $4 too. And this one I don't use as much as I use the detail one, but I do use it enough to where I felt like we could talk about it. It's a really nice brush. I definitely recommend that you try it out. So there is that brush. And the last brush I have is from the, what is this? Precisely, I forgot the name of this collection, but it's the number 205, and I really love this to put like eyeshadow on the lid, or you can blend it to the crease with it. It isn't fully dry yet because I used it earlier today. Perfect example. I think I used it to put both these lid shades on. They're on my lid right now. So this is a great brush. I actually want to get more of these when the sale comes on, because these usually don't go on sales, and they're usually like $6 a pop. So I'm like trying to hold out for the sale since I got all those other brushes, but I really want like 2 or 3 more of these to have on back on standby for when I have to do like, you know, comparison eyes, or like a battle of those, or, you know, just when I have to wash a brush and I need to do another eye look after that. And I, you know, y'all know me, I'm not going to use a dirty brush. So it's like I need like 3 or 4 more of these just to make sure I can have my collection complete as far as all the brushes I need to do eyeshadow with, because that is definitely one that I like to use quite frequently. But yeah, so let's get into the eyeshadow palette, because I'm shocked I have any. I'm telling y'all, like for years, like I would try to buy e.l.f. palettes and then I never liked them. So then I just stopped buying them. And then everybody started raving about these right here. And then I was just like, yeah, okay, sure. I don't believe you. But then like everybody's talking about it, and everybody's saying the same things that I used to say about how the formula wasn't that great and how it wasn't this and how it wasn't that. And they've come a long way. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll try it. And everybody keeps talking about these damn eyeshadows. And I feel like you know what I'm talking about. It's the Bite eyeshadow. So this one is cream and sugar. This one is berry bad. And this one, of course, hot jalapeno. Y'all know I had to have this one. Like, look at it. Just, this is like a 4-pan palette dream for someone like me who loves green eyeshadow. I think Karen Harris was talking about how it was like wonderful too, because she's like a fellow eyeshadow, a green eyeshadow palette lover. So we're gonna go ahead and swatch all those real quick. And I didn't bring a makeup remover wipe in here, so y'all just gonna have to see them on my hairy arms. I didn't plan on swatching, but here we are. So yeah, that's what this little quad looks like, and it kind of reminds me of the money one from Fenty that just came out recently. But I like the formula on this. I didn't necessarily like the formula on the Fenty ones. I thought it was like, you know, just okay. And it's like for that price and the fact that, you know, eyeshadow palettes are like a dime a dozen, I kind of don't want to buy it, but at the same time, I kind of want to buy it and compare it to this one. So let me know if y'all want to see me compare this one to the Fenty one, just to see as far as quality-wise. Even though I feel like somebody else has probably already done it, because I'm sure they saw the pattern and it's just like, I saw the pattern in, and they were like, yeah, I'm going to try it. So we don't necessarily have to try it, but we can do it if y'all want to. So just let me know. The last palette I have is the Retro Paradise. And this is actually a pretty watched video for me, considering I'm more of a high-end brand. I was shocked that a lot of people watch this video, but apparently y'all be liking me to do drugstore stuff sometimes too, so okay. I tried this because I had heard, I mean, I had looked at them when they first came out, and I was like, ooh, that looks nice, but I was like, I know the eyeshadow palette quality in these palettes is terrible, but it's my girl, it's Glam XO Beauty got me to try out this palette, because I asked her when she had posted her picture about how it was, because I told her, I was like, I don't like the formula on those big black ones that they had came out with. Like, I liked the what was it? Opposites Attract palette. I really like the color story of that, but the formula of that is not the same as this one. And I asked her, I'm like, because I didn't like those, and she's like, she didn't like them either. But like the formula of this is not the same as that. So I was like, oh, okay, now I'll give it a chance, because I trust her opinion. And she was right. The formula of this is not the same as that. The formula of this is way better than that. I mean, they could still use some work, because like a lot of these copper shades, I feel like don't go that well, and then you have to like put them on with your finger, or you have to like get a brush and then wet it and do a whole bunch of extra, and you might need glitter glue too. But I mean, like, this is mounds, leaps and bounds better than the way their eyeshadows used to be. So I will definitely give them their props. They are trying to step it up, and I appreciate it, because everybody loves eyeshadow palettes. I feel like that's the thing that we most buy out of everything. So the fact that they're stepping up their eyeshadow quality and they already sell things at an affordable price, I can definitely appreciate, because it's like, if you make more palettes like this, I'll definitely buy them, as long as the quality is like this. Don't make the quality like those black ones are, because I hate the form of those. But this one, yeah, this one is wonderful. Now I wish they would just remake the opposite attracts palette with this formula, and then I'd be happy and I'd buy that, because I bought the 18 Wonder palette. I didn't like that, and then the opposite track one, I didn't like that. So that's when I was just like, yeah, no, third. I'm like, I hope third time's the charm, since It's Glam XO Beauty told me it was, and it was. So this is the last thing we have to talk about when it comes to e.l.f. So those are all my e.l.f. favorites. I tried not to repeat anything that I did in the last video, which I'll try to remember to link up here, or I'll probably put at the end of this video as the, you know, the end card, that you can watch that and see. Like, the quality of the camera footage isn't going to be nearly as good as this is, because I have my glam cord like now, and you can see the products a little better than you could in that one. And it's weird, because I used my camera on that one, so I don't know why it looks like that, but I guess it just wasn't in focus that day. But alas, we have arrived at the end of the road, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are dimes. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.